Hey friends, Charles from the Gentleman's Journey here. Guys, today we're going to be talking about the All Powers R1500. Now guys, we're going to get into the specs, the solar panel here and all that. But at first, I want to get into some of the real world applications that we use this thing for. Friends, one of the first things that we like to do with a power station is actually power our entire camper here, minus the air conditioner. So I have a regular adapter that goes from the 30 amp, and then I can go ahead and plug this whole entire camper in, and that's gonna let me use any kind of outlets inside the camper. It's gonna run the fridge, and I'm already powering the batteries right now. Let's see what kind of draw we're getting. So friends, it's probably hard for you to see, but right now we're doing 468 watts going out. So likely the batteries are charging and maybe the refrigerator's running off the power right now. So at that rate, we can do this for 2 more hours. Another common thing that we like to do is dump power into our batteries. So guys, we have this Victron battery charger, and that's because I put lithium batteries in here, so the camper has its own. We will plug directly into that if we want to dump power, and we can do that inside. So here we are inside the camper, and I actually have the cord fished underneath the front hatch and plugged in right here. So this is the closest outlet to that Victron. And what we do is we could bring the power station right here and charge it, but I'll show you what we do instead. So we'll run this cord, and I typically have it just on the ground over there, all the way up to the power station. This is a good safe place for that to be. See, we're only bringing in 287 watts right now. The difference from outside because we're not powering the refrigerator. Yeah, so friends, we will have this thing plugged in to the extension cord. You can see it running behind my Red Wing Chelseas up to Mr. Irwin, and we just kick back and watch videos. Guys, you can watch a bunch of videos, play video games on this power station. So just because we're traveling doesn't mean we don't want the creature comforts of home. So we're regularly popping popcorn. So for popcorn, friends, all we gotta do is unplug the microwave from the wall, grab Mr. Extension cord again, and then we come over here. We're plugged in, guys, and start the microwave. So let's take a look right now at what it's doing. So we got 9, 1100, 1400. So microwave is really expensive in terms of power. I like to think of power as how much it costs me. So to run this microwave right now, guys, it's going to cost us quite a bit. But the good thing is this power station is an 1800 watt output with a 3000 watt boost. So if something takes 3000 watts to get started, and it'll maintain 1800 watts. So right now we're about 1400 watts. So it's towards the upper end, but this popcorn is going to be worth it. Friends, I wanted to come out here and just show you a few more things that we use it for. I don't want to beat a dead horse, but guys, this is some of the stuff that we depend on. We're at a campsite right now, but we're traveling full time. We're down in Florida, and we need power. Power, you need water, you need sewer, and you need power to live on the road. And of course, a lot of food. So we have the display on, friends. I have the AC power on. Now I'm gonna put the DC power on so we can be plugging things in. Now the first thing I have plugged into the DC is this little light. So you kind of see it pluck up to 2 watt output. That's all this is taking out of the whole system. We can do that for 7 days, friends. So I'm gonna go ahead and unplug that. Quickly, we'll plug in this little headlamp here. I love this thing. I don't go outside at night without it. We got 2 watts again. So these are gonna be really low power situations. Now let's get those unplugged. I have my DeWalt battery. So you're charging battery with battery, and I know it gets silly. Like I said, we fill up our battery tanks in the camper with this, but let's get that plugged in and see what the DeWalt is doing. So you can see it flashing. So it's charging now. Check it out, guys. 66 watt output. So little light, little headlamp, 2 watts. This thing is gonna start at 67 watts. We can do that for 12 hours. So we'll unplug that. Now guys, we have this MacBook here. It's pretty heavy duty. It has quite the draw of power, and it's going to be the USB-C. So this thing's really versatile. It only has 3 watts coming out right now from the MacBook. It's possible that this thing is already topped off, so that's not going to be too exciting for us. We'll unplug that. Now guys, I don't live without this little jigsaw on the rig. I can't tell you the amount of projects that I've done with this little jigsaw. Let's see what it does. So friends, it was up to like 350. I think the initial boost was more. Let me check that again. Now another tool that I just can't travel without is my cutoff wheel, or you have a metal grinding wheel. I use this thing for all kinds of situations. Of course, you can't get locked out of somewhere because you can go up to any kind of lock and just cut it off. Let's see how much power this guy draws. So that got up to like 643 watts coming out. Now we weren't cutting anything, so I think when we're actually grinding or cutting, you know, it digs in a bit deeper. But friends, these little tools aren't a match for the power station. So something like this, guys, I take out, I have a little electric chainsaw, we're limbing and stuff. You guys can get a lot done with this thing. So we've talked a lot about what it can produce, but let's talk a little bit about the charging, then we'll get into the specs. In terms of charging, right now I got it plugged in to a regular wall outlet. Guys, we're bringing in 843 watts input. Right now we're gonna get into this solar panel a little bit. Now friends, I like what they've done. They've gone with standard, what you'll see on a lot of solar panel connectors. And then they have a tip on here that looks quite a bit like my EcoFlow. So you have this tip that actually goes into the power station, but these are compatible with all kinds of other solar panel situations. Over here you're gonna see the different charging scenarios, have a nice little door that pops open, and there's our solar port right there. So here we are charging, friends, but let's check out what we're working with. Not a lot today. Let's go over to the machine, see what kind of input we're getting. Yeah, we're not getting much. We're getting 3 watts. Now this is a 200 watt solar panel and it's a beast, friends. If there's any sun to be had, it's gonna gather it. Now the cool thing about this is it folds up pretty compact. So these guys are gonna fold on top of each other, and you can see it compared to this camp table that you're probably familiar with. This size will tuck behind the couch, it'll go under the bed, go behind the back seat of the truck, and it is really compact. So onto the specs of this guy, friends. We talked about it coming with a 200 watt solar panel, and that's if you guys choose that option. This thing, entry level, just the power station is dirt cheap, guys. I think everyone ought to have this as at least backup power. You know, throw the solar panel in and you can really get through a lot. But friends, this thing has the pure sine wave inverter. So that's to invert out to these 4 power AC powers. And then guys, it's gonna be 1800 watts like we talked about. So you can look on your different Keurig coffee pot, different things on the bottom or the back will tell you about how many watts it needs. Again, it has that 3000 watt boost, and then it has 1152 watt hours. So that's kind of the battery capacity. Now friends, this is a lithium ion battery, and that's the top of the line. This is kind of equivalent to having 100 amp hour battery. So in the camper I have 200 amp hour batteries, and you can drain that to 0. So a lot of your older AGM and your lead acid batteries, you really want to keep at like 50%. So if you buy a 100 amp battery, you're kind of getting a 50 amp battery. With this stuff, a lot of these you can drain pretty much to 0. Some of them will trickle down if you have a really high power output thing. If it requires 500, 800 watts, it might stop before 0 just because it wants to not kill it, and so it has some built-in technology for that kind of stuff. Has USB-A, USB-C. Guys, it has a regular cigarette lighter output. It has everything that you're looking for. You can charge it car charger. It doesn't come with that. I don't recommend it. I've killed some different outlets in my vehicles from doing that, but what we do is we get to a campsite like this, we charge everything. We charge the batteries, we charge the camper, we charge this guy. Friends, we've been known to charge up at a laundromat. So you get permission, you go in, you're doing laundry. Next thing you know, we're charging our power station. So the good thing about this is it's fast charging. It charges really, really fast. So guys, I'm gonna drop a link to this in the description. You can check it out. When you buy stuff like that, it helps the channel. It doesn't cost you any extra. It just tells them that I sent you there. Guys, we have so many adventures coming, and we use equipment just like this to keep us out, keep us filming. I charge all my camera gear, just everything on this stuff. Bunch of really fun stuff to subscribe to, guys. But don't forget, if you check back the channel, we have so many adventures that we've been on, all kinds of good stuff you can watch right now. I got some videos filmed that are coming out in the next couple weeks I think you're really gonna enjoy. So friends, until the next video, God bless, and we'll see you then.